In the frozen workshops of the Mongolian steppe, a single arrow begins its journey, not as wood and feather, but as a weapon that would conquer half the known world. The arrow maker's hands move with precision passed down through generations. He selects birch wood, the backbone of every Mongolian arrow. Not just any birch. He searches for wood with the straightest grain possible, because even the slightest curve will send an arrow off course at 300 yards. The shaft must be between 80 and 100 centimeters long, with a diameter of exactly 1 centimeter. Too thick, and it won't fly true. Too thin, and it shatters on impact. Now comes the rounding process. Using hand tools refined over centuries, he shapes the raw wood into a perfect cylinder. But here's where Mongolian craftsmanship gets brilliant. The back end of the arrow is carved slightly smaller in diameter, creating a hook where the bowstring will rest. Some arrows have this hook cut directly into the wood. Others use a separate piece of birch or horn, glued with animal adhesive that's been boiled until it reaches the perfect consistency. The arrowhead is next, and this is where the arrow's purpose reveals itself. Traditional Mongolian warriors used different arrow types for different targets. For practice and hunting small game, wooden heads. For piercing armor and shields, horn arrowheads carved from the base sections of fallen antlers or wild goat horns. These materials are heated, shaped, and sharpened until they can punch through the toughest defenses. The Mongols were so meticulous that they created specialized arrows. Long-range arrows for distances up to 400 meters, short-range arrows for accuracy at 150 meters, fork-tipped arrows for maximum damage, and even whistling arrows used for battlefield signals. But the real secret lies in the fletching. The arrow maker selects crane tail feathers, prized above all others. Eagle feathers are even better, but incredibly rare. Wing feathers are avoided because they create turbulence. Tail feathers cut through air like a blade through silk. Each arrow requires 3 to 4 feathers, carefully removed from the bird, cut to precise dimensions, and glued in perfect alignment. The placement isn't random. Every feather must be positioned to create a spiral that stabilizes the arrow's flight, turning it into a spinning projectile that maintains accuracy even in wind. The gluing process takes days. Animal glue, made from boiled sinew and hide, must be applied in thin layers and allowed to cure completely. Rush this step, and the arrow falls apart mid-flight. The craftsman wraps sections in fine rope during drying, ensuring every component bonds permanently. Finally, the completed arrow is tested for balance and weight. A Mongolian warrior carried multiple quiver types, each holding different arrow designs. Light cavalry archers needed arrows they could shoot rapidly in waves of 20 men, firing several arrows per charge before wheeling back to reload. The arrows had to be light enough for speed, but heavy enough to maintain killing power at 200 meters. This single arrow, born from birch forests and craftsmen's workshops, became part of the most devastating military force in history. Mongol archers could shoot accurately from horseback at full gallop, releasing arrows that penetrated armor the Europeans thought impenetrable. Their composite bows, combined with these perfectly crafted arrows, had a range exceeding 350 yards, outclassing the English longbow by 100 yards. The arrow storm tactic made these arrows legendary. 80 men per company, firing in coordinated waves, creating a sky black with projectiles. Enemies described it as a phenomenon of nature, an unstoppable rain of death. And it all started here, in a craftsman's hands, transforming simple materials into the weapon that built the largest contiguous empire the world has ever seen. From workshop to battlefield, from craftsman to warrior, this is the complete journey of a Mongolian arrow.